yes, you're growing. We can maintain this for maybe 1 to 2 more years. But if retention drops or the price increases go down, you're losing.
If you're so busy doing something with one client, you're not getting out to the other ones. And how do we give fair service to everybody? And that's the renewal review call. It's the most democratic thing that you could do. All right. How are you doing today?
I'm well, and yourself?
It's been a day.
Yeah.
Been a day. Do you think we should ask our listeners what I should do this evening?
Ooh, survey says no, because
well, by the time this is posted, all of it will either have been done or not done. So I'm current. I've had a little bit of a day. I had lots of very unique agency challenges come my way. Some family, some dipping pens and company ink, some interpersonal at APP with people want to take some time off. So my thing is this: it is 5:39 here on the East Coast. My flight's at 10:30. I could either just after this podcast stop and just go to the bar and just deal with it the Irish way, right? Or I could hammer home, do 2 hours of really constructive work to like just get there and then go do that. Because, like 6 o'clock till 10:30 flight, that's a lot of drinking. And I'm not trying to do like a beer. I'm trying to go right into the vodka martini and a backsplash.
Oh, okay. I vote for option 2 then. A little bit of work.
Or I just get my tasks done and I wake up wonderful tomorrow and I just get on my Peloton in the morning and I'm a normal human.
And not hungover and feeling gross with a lot of tasks.
And then I won't get into a fight with my husband because inevitably when he picks me up and I'm toasted, there's always something that he's like, you're a disaster. And I'm like, you leave socks on the floor. It's just like never a good scenario because he's tired and he doesn't really want to pick me up at 12:30. So he's grumpy. And I'm all like, let's listen to Dre. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's like mixing oil and vinegar together in a car. And then I'm like, let's have another drink. And he's just like, go to bed.
You can't tell me what to do.
You're not the boss of me. I have to, the older I get, the more I know the plan. So yeah. So anyway, but we're here to talk about something different. This is going to make like the highlight reel and do the mini blog intros. And it's going to be like, what does Kelly drink? We're going to talk about a serious topic, but how do we increase retention rate? I don't know about you, Stephen, but I have been getting more people reaching out, wanting to start renewal reviews. Like we had a little drought, like everybody's like, assess my agency, my culture, everybody's backlog, time. And they thought renewal reviews were like, life was good, right? The market was different. And now they want to take on literally the most difficult, like climbing Mount Everest in a hard market.
Difficult yet rewarding.
No, it's like burpees. Like, I've said this a million times. The renewal review call program is burpees. It freaking works and it freaking sucks in the beginning. But if you did 10 burpees a day over the course of a month, you would be able to do then 20 and 30 and 40, right? Like it's burpees. Mm-hmm. That's the deal. Should we do a burpee right now?
No. Nope.
Okay. Challenge me after my second martini.
After your second martini, we'll have exercise on FaceTime. How's that then?
Okay, cool. So, but it's interesting to me because I think a lot of agency owners, right? Like X happens. And so we need to now defend retention. And so the market shifted and I feel like everybody wants to go do this program, which I agree with. But like a little piece of my heart is like, where were you 3 years ago? Because the clients that have been making these renewal calls now, we've been in business for over 9 years. This is like one of the programs we started like super early on, right? Like I had 2 programs. I did assessments, I did some trainings, and I did these renewal calls to people. And now we've got a lot more. But I think that, the renewal calls check so many boxes in the hard market that it's a natural instinct to want to get them going. I just wonder why we weren't so excited to build trust with our clients when times were good.
Because I think people looked at it and were like, that's a lot. We're doing okay. We need to focus on other places.
Don't poke the sleeping bear.
Don't poke the sleeping bear. Yeah. And now they're like, we got to figure something out because not poking them's not working either. But
my whole book could be gone.
I've seen a swift change too, though, in the market of and I feel like a
Maybe
broken
it's because no one
record.
can write new business. Maybe that's why.
That could be part of it. They can't write new business. But I also feel like the squeaky or the broken record, but I'm like, the squeaky wheel's gotten all of our attention for years and never goes anywhere. And all of those clients we've ignored are now rushing out the back door for something else because they don't know what they had because we didn't spend time with them.
I know. And it's like, to me, it's it's the building of trust that we have been missing in this industry. Like, we want to be seen as this, we're like your attorney, we're like your accountant, like we're these people, but we're only going to respond when you need to change a vehicle or you need a certificate, and we're going to be super reactive, but you should be thought of as in this high level. Well, I trust my attorney because we've been to battle with buying out partners of certain businesses. And, we've had to let go of employees and deal with termination agreements and things like that. And I trust him because we've had that time together, right? I trust my accountant because every year he teases me about what I pay in taxes and he tells me it sucks. And I'm like, I know. And I don't look forward to what he tells me, but the way he says it, I'm like, it's that time, isn't it, Mike? And he's like, it is. And I trust my financial planner because he's always proactively saying, the market's weird. Do you want to talk? I'm like, can I talk like in a month? He's like, we can talk whenever you want. I just want to let you know I'm here. The market's really weird right now. If you want to talk about changing your strategy or what we should do or whatever, I'm here. And it's just that little note that says, I care about you. And I'm by far not his biggest client, right? In this industry, we want to be like, it's like this. I want to be seen as a bikini model, but I ate donuts for 12 months straight. And now I'm asking everybody to go become a bikini model and get on the crash diet. Like, why aren't we just being healthy?
Martha Stewart can be on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
She looks fire.
As well, can be a bikini model.
Can we have a sidebar? Like, I thought, like, okay, so I'm 41. I thought, like, God damn you, Jennifer Lopez, for effing it up for everybody. Like, that girl looks better. Now, but I also feel like the amount of maintenance that goes into this is like, it's like Kardashians, J-Lo, like there's buckets of people that their entire life is centered around like a fat cell comes along and like liposuction sucks it right on out. Like, it's just, they have an alert system. There's a fat cell.
Yeah. There's
a wrinkle and like Botox guy pops out of the closet. It's like just
Botox on demand.
Yeah. But then Martha Stewart comes along and I'm like, well, shiznizzle. I'm going to level up ahead of J-Lo and I'm going to go Stewart style.
Yeah.
Like I said to you yesterday, I only have one face. I spend a lot on face care products. I only got one.
Very true.
I only got one. But back onto our track. So I don't know where we were going with all that. It's Friday evening and I'm thinking about martinis.
We were going to say that some plan's better than no plan, first of all. So let's just get that out of there. And people are coming to the realization.
No, we applaud the people who have come to us. I want to be very clear. We have applaud. Like I've been on this bandwagon for so long, and so many people. I got hate mail sometimes about it.
Maybe it's the 23rd time they've heard it, and as an adult, it's now caught on.
Or I think they're like, okay, we may have a problem. We need to start doing this now, and I think that in our mind, you need to make sure people have the right job descriptions, have the right incentive plans, that they have time in their day, and then do these renewal calls. But I think, like you said, any renewal calls are better than none. And I think that we are the best in the industry at getting people to do them and do them right and not BS renewal calls.
Right. I was talking to a client or prospect the other day. Retention rate's like 86%. And we were talking about growth and how does it grow and whatever. And 86 isn't horrible, but it's not amazing either.
I would have cause for concern with that one.
Well, yes, I understand what market they're in. Let's put it that way. So
do they have non-standard? Do I know who you're talking about?
They're maybe coastal, they're maybe non-standard, they're maybe lots of things. They have lots of things going on.
Okay.
But then with their rate increases that are happening in their area, they're actually still growing. And they're like, well, we're growing. And I put it into a calculator right in front of them. And I'm like, yes, you're growing. We can maintain this for maybe 1 to 2 more years. But if retention drops or the price increases go down, you're losing, right? So we need to have a strategy.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people are coming to the realization of is they can't just we're working just as hard to
We're
write
starting
new
to lose really good clients, and that's like a
Yeah.
sting, right? Like that's the jab.
We're losing the great clients that just sat back and didn't require a whole lot of service, and the high maintenance ones are coming out the woodwork.
Well, and I think to couple this and why renewal review calls work, one, I think they're phenomenal for a new insurance person. You know, people are like, I want to put my most seasoned person. I'm like, yes, but no. Because the way our forms work and things like that, it's so structured that it actually empowers a very green insurance person to become a badass pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the OGs of insurance sometimes fight the form. I can do it. I don't need this. I'm all set. And then we miss cross-selling and they remarket a little too quickly as opposed to holding the fort.
Yeah.
I also think too, you know, when we think about how we handle renewals and renewal reviews and all that fun jazz, that because we're starting to lose some good clients and that's stinging a little bit more, we're also sort of like, well, we're losing them to State Farm, or we're losing them here, or we're losing them there. But if you're losing clients, let's talk about this for a second. We're losing clients. I think that they should pop open that management system and look, when's the last time we talked to the person? Like, not like I needed to get my auto ID card or but like really.
Not a once a year email, just like, hey.
Yeah. And not like, oh, you're buying a new car. Here's a swapped vehicle. Have a nice day. But like really talk to them. And I think we're going to find that we've been very neglectful of that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now when clients call in, they're spicy. And the other thing that renewal review calls solve is team confidence. And I think this might be like my bandwagon for the second half of this year is how do you get a confident account management team? How do we build confidence in people that maybe they don't exude confidence by nature?
Well, I think that we have to be able to teach them certain things, like how can they get more knowledge? The more knowledge you have, the more confident you can be. The more times you have a conversation and you find out it's not as scary as you thought it was, the more confident you can be. Role play? What?
Oh, I love a good role play.
A little bit of role play goes a long way.
I think it's also like, we've got a client in Canada we had a lot of conversations about this with, right? Where how do we get them to think about all the clients, not the client that's in their face, right? So if you have 1,000 customers, 700 customers, whatever it is, every book is different. So don't go quoting me and being like, Kelly said I should only have this many customers. Depends on everything. How do we get them to understand that if you're so busy doing something with one client, you're not getting out to the other ones? And how do we give fair service to everybody? And that's the renewal review call. It's the most democratic thing that you could do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're picking and choosing by rate increase, or we're picking and choosing by whoever squawks. But if we just got out to everybody and blanketed out the world, said, we are here, this market is difficult, we're your person, let us be your person in this, then I think that goes so far.
And I think that we just need to really not be afraid of the conversation.
Yes. I don't know what people think. Do they think I'm going to call Steven and Steven's going to come out and slash my tires, and then he's going to kidnap my child and he's going to poison my coffee because the rate went up? What is the worst thing that happens? Twofold.
Somebody says mean word.
So they react to difficult news, which have you done that, Stephen, before?
No. Mm-mm.
You are just an angel.
I am.
You react. Yes. Okay. Well, since you're lying, many of us have reacted to bad news just in general, right? Like it's a thing that happens. And then, okay, so we react to bad news. And then the other thing is, let it go. And I think, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think the real fear of them leaving is deep down in our souls, in our itty bitty little souls and hearts. We had wished we had called them and done proactive renewal reviews. So we have all this guilt
Mm-hmm.
and like just real guilt. Like I should have been a better account manager to this client that left that I haven't talked to in 3 years. And so we think if we call them, it's all that's going to happen is they're going to want to shop.
But we also work with agencies that proactively shop everything, and then they're shocked. When we replace that action with actually picking up the phone and calling clients and talking to them about what's happening.
I don't even.
And I'm like, how many people call you back? I mean, if we think about it, if we're shopping everything and then we're only calling the ones that we can save money, we're kind of still on the bad side because we're wasting all the time to shop without a review. The review helps us uncover the underwriting information, helps us get everything up to date, and it is building that relationship and trust with the client. And it's validating the information we have to see if we need to reshop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we're having those open and honest conversations with our clients, they may not always agree with them, but they appreciate it.
Well, and I also think that they say, hey, I don't like the rate, but I like you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't like the fact that I have to get a filling, but I like my dentist. Like, I think it's so personal for us. And the feedback I got was, well, they have other choices. I'm like, I've got other choices of dentists.
Right.
I've got other choices of accountants. I've got other choices on everything. But insurance, it seems so personal when somebody wants to leave, but less personal on their average everyday renewals. And it's because we're so busy that we're just chasing our tails all the time that we forget that what we're really here to do.
I think the account reviews to really help the client remember who you are.
Yes.
And remember that you're a resource. So one of the things we would always say on the renewal calls is, hey, if it's vanilla, nothing's changing, we review the information, we're good to go. We're like, just remember, if you have questions or something looks weird, give us a call. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And we had clients that would save up their questions till the next year when we called them again. Like they had a little insurance notepad, which sounds insane, right? But at least they weren't calling somebody else or they weren't running around town looking for other insurance.
Little insurance biddies
That would save their questions till the appropriate time.
How cute is that, though?
Mm-hmm.
So insurance renewal reviews, they actually stop shopping. They clean up your book. They help with E&O. They help with customer loyalty because this customer feels like you have their back. A lot of people just want to know you're looking at it. That's it. Just what's that? Okay, thanks for the information. Makes sense. Appreciate you. And then I think, I don't know. It's to me, if you were to stop and like not be grown up in insurance, right? Like you have something completely different and you came in. So we have actually a couple clients that were not in insurance. They bought an agency because they liked the business model. So they bring in this really outside business perspective. And they're like, of course we would do renewal reviews. Like that's a sale. Like that's protecting my asset.
Yeah.
And like inside of insurance, it's always like, and I think we find this a lot. Like I'm thinking of one person in particular. She's a personal lines manager and she's really not a manager, right? She's more of a team lead. And it's always like, well, we're too busy. We can't do that. And I'm like, I don't want to say the person's name because it's kind of a unique name, but I'm like, so what would be the plan then? And they don't really have one. It's just that I'm so busy. And I'm like, okay, so let's break it down. How can we cut the waste of the bad clients? How can we slow down your reshops because they're out of control because you're doing it out of desperation, not preparation? And I go, you might not be able to see it right this moment, but what if, could you give me 90 days of all in?
Well, and I think too, like even we're getting near the end of a program with an agency and they've been like so stressed about nothing. Like I'm still trying to figure out what they're stressed about. But we had a conversation.
Dessert spelled backwards. They're just eating dessert.
Dessert spelled backwards. Okay. But we were talking about it. I was like, let's have an honest conversation. What is it? And they're like, well, we're uncovering all these things. And I'm like, okay, so would you go back to 5 months ago when we started this program? And they're like, well, no, because the clients kind of appreciate it, but it's scary how many things we find.
Oh, and that's a moment of truth, right? It's that guilt, right?
I'm like, okay,
guilt.
but now we have set standards for the agency. We know what to expect and what the expectations of the owners are. We know what to tell the client if it's a yes or a no. And how many quotes have we done recently that we didn't need to do? And they're like, almost none. I'm like, how many quotes are you doing before? They're like, 100. And I'm like, so we're saving time. We're helping clients. We're protecting them better. What's so stressful about that? Well, sometimes the client gets mad. And I'm like, great. So we listen to the 1 out of 10 and we treat the other 9 like they're going to be the 1. And they're like, well, I guess when you say it that way, I also know from experience running through the retention program and running it with the team.
You only had to do it once too.
We once. Sales we did twice. Retention we did once. But again, it was something that the team, especially after the first year of doing it consistently and faithfully, after a year, the call volumes dropped. The clients became nicer. Like all the riffraff ran off.
Stop it.
Because they didn't want the review. They didn't want to follow our process for a reshop. They didn't want to have to work or help us maintain or obtain the correct information.
And I think they also paid the penalty for doing sloppy work before.
Right.
Or other people's sloppy work.
Right.
They had to clean up and then they're like.
But we at least had standards that everybody could follow and expectations of the agency, which I think is also huge.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to just go bold. I'm just going to say the agencies doing renewal reviews are going to buy the agencies that are not. Like in this market, there'll be a lot. So first of all, now there's no more like private equity crazy deals, right? So that's driving.
Money's not free no more.
Yeah. And I mean, people were buying agencies where you're like, like interesting, right? That's gone. So now agencies, I think, are going to crash in price. And because other agencies are just going to steal their lunch, right? Like I can go get all these other things going on. I think that if you're doing renewal review calls, you'll have a strategy. And the game now is not no. It's keep, and you'll grow through rate.
Keep and grow.
Yeah. And by the way, what a brilliant industry, right? Where when the market hardens, you grow through rate, even if you can't write new business. And then when the market comes back around, you're in a good position to go generate all those referrals from people and go in a good spot. But why are we never happy in insurance? Like,
because we don't have to be.
We just have to be here.
It's something different every day. You just wake up in the morning and hope you make it back to bed again.
I appreciate you getting on the podcast, Stephen. What's your final message for everybody as far as renewal reviews?
Give me a call. Let's do it together.
Oh, a bestie.
I'll be your BFF.
You'll be your renewal review call bestie. Mine is, hire us so that you don't have to be the bad guy if you don't want to be. I think that's one of the biggest things that people like. They think their team is going to collapse underneath the idea of it. And I actually think a lot of the agencies, because maybe the communication that they have isn't impeccable, that it would not work without an outside party who's got it all methodically thought out and has the communication down and the messaging down and the why, right? Like, I actually do think that is very valuable. All right. Well, we'll wrap this podcast up and I hope we'll see where I end up tonight. Hopefully home.
Okay. I hope you end up at home. If not, I'll be at home if you need me. Ooh, that's 5 more hours on a plane.
Yeah. Stephen won't fight with me.
I'll even let Philip come pick you up from the airport.
Oh, that won't happen. I need to go home and have puppy snugs.
Okay. You go snuggle with your puppy. I'll go snuggle with mine. For those of you struggling with whatever's happening out there, give us a call. Let us know. We have online options. We have hours available. We are here for you live and virtually for a limited time only. So we're fully booked and can't help anybody else because it's getting hot out there.
You're like the Elton John with his farewell tour that lasted like 6 years. This is the final show.
This is the final tour.
And then I think he finished in the US and now he's in Europe. And the final.
I mean, when you got it, you got it. And when you don't.
I went.
Yeah.
The wedding song, we had to.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thanks, guys. Bye.